Assalamu alaikum. The topic for today is field survey. In our previous videos on data collection, we discussed that there are two methods which are commonly used by the social researchers in data collection. First was the literature review and the second is field survey. The difference between literature review and field survey is that in literature review, we collect secondary data, the data that already exists in the libraries and in the databases. But in field survey, we go for primary or first-hand facts and figures from the stakeholders of this study. It means that every social researcher actually works on a population or community wherefrom the sample is selected and the findings will be applied on that particular population. So field study is also a big part of social research and it plays different roles in the social research. For example, it helps at the time of topic formulation. As we have already discussed that when we are selecting the topic and formulating the topic, then we base most of our efforts on literature review. But if we find that the existing literature is not enough to help the researcher in completing the research project, then a pilot study is conducted or mini field study is conducted. So at the formulation level, field study helps the researcher to verify the variables, their interrelationships and the questionnaire that we have developed from the existing research. If the stakeholders have difference of opinion, then we have to accommodate that opinion and update the project as per expectations of the stakeholders. The second role field study or field survey plays is that it enables the researcher to test the theoretical framework that was developed from the literature and maybe with the help of pilot study, it is tested in terms of the computations on the variables and computations on their interrelationships. Third role of field survey is that it is the main method for the social researcher to test the hypothesis developed from the literature. And finally, field survey is also helpful and plays a big role and supporting role at the philosophical level. We shall discuss the research philosophy in forthcoming videos, but for the time being, I would say that in social research we use positivism, which says that knowledge is what can be verified. So the field survey helps in the verification of the variables, their interrelationships, and the theory we developed out of the literature. Now, let's start the techniques or the processes which are used in the field survey. Interview, observation and questionnaire. Interview and observation are mostly used for qualitative data collection, while questionnaire is the commonly and widely used tool for numerical data collection. Interview is more dependent on the professionalism, technical skills, communication skills of the researcher, and the interview guide is simply a list of variables and their relationships or any other thing which a researcher considers important to be discussed with the respondent. So the professionalism or the effort which is more critical with reference to interview is the interviewer, the qualification, the expertise and the command of the researcher or interviewer. While in questionnaire, the development of questionnaire is more technical, more professional and demands more command of the developer than its implementation. While in interview, the implementation is more important and more demanding than developing an interview guide. The second is observation. Observation means use of five senses by the researcher to collect factual figures. We can call it something like it is the process of data collection beyond the questions and answers, like recording and reporting of impressions of respondents during, say, interview. For example, observation can be used when a researcher is interviewing and collecting data in the language of the respondents, but the researcher can also record the impressions of the respondent at the time of replying the research questions. For example, the researcher can record the fact that the respondents were getting angry on some questions, or they were getting emotional on question 5 and question 3. So observation is also a qualitative data collection method used in the field survey by the researcher by observing and collecting that data which is not coming in the questionnaire. And the last one is questionnaire. Questionnaire is the most commonly used and most advanced tool for data collection. It is developed with the help of existing research books, research papers, indexes on the variables, and the standard questionnaires which have been developed by the experts. They are also available in the literature. So with the help of those resources, questionnaire is developed. Most of the questionnaires in social research consist of the following parts. On the top is the topic, and then we put a request to the respondent to help in filling the questionnaire. Then we record the demographic attributes of the respondents, and after that this section is about the research questions. We shall talk about the scales and levels of measurement in our next video, but at the moment you can simply understand that a questionnaire is made of two parts. One part is the data about the respondents' demographics, and the other is the part where questions about the research topic are placed.